You're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. Kicking it here on this Sunday night. Yes, it is Sunday, right? That's right, the topic. Sunday night vibes here on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. You can follow me on my TikTok and YouTube channel, both labeled the Cooley Cool Show. You can also follow me on my Twitter at CooleyCool2412. You can also follow me at Instagram at Brent_the champ. Yep, so we're going to probably be recapping on the episodes that we talked earlier this week here on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. And by the way, we rock from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe in Antarctica. And if you're in Antarctica, because I know there are people down there, let me know if you hear us. We're going to get started in just a couple of seconds. You're listening to Cooley Cool's Hip Hop Jam. Oh yeah, you're listening on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. Yep, it's been an interesting past couple of days, especially with some balloons. So, welcome here to all my great listeners, all two of you. I appreciate you. You guys are what makes me just strive for better. I love it. Thank you to my listeners. Appreciate you. So, you're listening here to the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show, with your host, Brent here. No, hold the applause. Hold the applause. Oh, thank you. So, this is Sunday night vibes. It's kind of a cool down of, as far as the other topic discussions we had so far this week. Probably we were getting at it hot and heavy. Getting at it hot and heavy. Oh, yeah. So, we talked a lot in the past couple days. If you've been listening to my podcast, it's been out there and in news. It's been a lot of things going on in the news. Just to kind of hashtag on certain current events. If you're into balloons, you might have saw a balloon floating across the northern east coast, well, northern east states along the coastline as well, of a spy balloon. Apparently it's part of a spy balloon that China has said, oh yeah, it's one of our researcher science balloons, just straight off course. And to touch a little bit on this, the U.S., and I touched about last night, but I really wasn't concerned much about talking about it. It's like any other type of balloon. A balloon goes in the air, it's going to come down eventually. Um, well, the U.S. did take the balloon down. Apparently, it was an F-15 fighter jet that, said, we don't fuck around with balloons around here. This is the real deal. We don't fuck with balloons here. Alright? Don't bring that shit around here. And so we took the balloon and, the balloon went down and splashed down into the Atlantic Ocean. And there has been a recovery salvage team by the United States Navy, or not, maybe possibly Coast Guard, to come salvage the balloon. And obviously to look to see whether or not any components were fitting of spying capabilities, of snapping pictures and things of that nature, gathering intelligence. Um, that's as far as we know. As far as right now, that's what's happening in the news today. Um, I mean, at one point in time when the balloon was spotted, it apparently came from, it invaded Canada's airspace, and then it invaded our airspace, coming across over from Montana, and maybe, just maybe, this spy balloon from China, maybe they were so concerned about trying to find if us, the United States, still had sightings of Bigfoot. Since I believe Bigfoot is homegrown somewhere in Montana. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Maybe they were looking to say, hey, the only way we can actually capture or get a glimpse of Bigfoot is to send a balloon. I mean, they have the Himalayan mountains, which is not called Bigfoot or the Sasquatch. It is actually called the Abominable Snowman, aka the Yeti. Oh yeah, the Yeti. So, I mean, who the hell knows at this point? I mean, there's a lot of talk as far as what's going on, what's happened, what'll be. Just like that. The news with well, I'm sorry, not the news, but that's that movie with Jerry Lewis in it, the Nutty Professor. What'll be? Now say it a little brighter, a little more happier, it'd be more brighter. So I'm looking at the news today, and they're still talking about this fucking balloon. And China says China condemns U.S. attack on surveillance balloon as overreaction. Okay, motherfucker, let's just get something straight. You have a balloon, a surveillance balloon, flying over Allied territory, Canada, U.S., and Lord knows who else. Apparently Latin America have, but we ain't heard anything from it, so it's probably still up down there somewhere. And China says they condemn the attack of us taking down the fucking balloon and says it's overreaction. The fuck are you talking about? First of all, it's not an overreaction. We don't know what the fuck it is. And obviously, if we're going to take it out to get it out of commission, that means, we're not going to go try to capture and follow it or whatever. No, we're going to get the shit fucking out the way. Just get it. We don't know what's capable. We don't know what its capabilities are. Even though there have been a lot of, let's say, a lot of speculation talk as far as what it was doing, what it could do, how things could do. At one point in time, people were trying to say, well, you know what? That balloon probably had an electromagnetic EMP device on there where it was looking to strike the U.S. by just shutting down all its electronics and things like that. So China says we're overreacting, but if we were to do that into China's airspace, China would be condemning the United States for allowing a surveillance balloon to get lost or lose track of its course and to go into their airspace. Really? Let's not play stupid here. We all know the world powers, the world leaders, the elites of the elites, all are plotting some type of bullshit. All right? End of story. For cheesy, for peasy. And I'm just looking at this. This is latest up to 22 hours, 8 hours of them talking about suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast, South Carolina coast. Now, for a period of time, I think it was yesterday and a couple of days, they were telling people not to take pop shots at the fucking balloon. Now, I just have to speculate in this. They're talking about people don't shoot at the fucking balloon, right? That's what I gathered from it. But at the same time, it's like, how low is this fucking balloon flying to where it would allow the average citizen, the gun owner, the proud American, legal gun owner, to take a shot, at a balloon in the air? Yeah, I mean, if it's low, but how low is this shit? If it's supposed to be a spy balloon, wouldn't you want it to be somewhere where no one can see it? Right? A surveillance balloon. They admitting to that it was a surveillance balloon. There's not much surveillance going on if people can see it. I mean, obviously, we have security surveillance cameras in malls and stores. I mean, they're there, but it's not like they're, let's see. They're there, but they're not there in your face as you're walking down the aisle and then bumping your head into it or something like that. So whatever they're talking about, saying we're overreacting, but trust me, if the United States were have done the same, people there would be up in arms about, oh, that's some bullshit, America, you lie, you lie, that's some bullshit. You send a surveillance, you're watching this, you must pay. I mean, come on. I mean, this day and age, I mean, and the whole damn thing sounds shady as hell in comparison to everything. I mean, they admit that it was a surveillance balloon, aka spy balloon. The U.S. is, somehow allows this to happen where they didn't pick up on it. Yeah, okay, sure. So there's more to this story than meets the eye. And once again, if you've listened to my podcast, I have said so many times on my podcast, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. No. He's not trying to deceive you at every corner. Oh, no. No. Stop trying to peek at the man behind the curtain. He's not talking. Pay attention to the smoke and mirrors, okay? I'm going to be the more realist person you've ever heard on talk radio. I'm telling you. All right? I'm going to bring to you the enormous amount of common sense perspectives on certain things. For instance, as I said before plenty of times on my podcast, when I talk about aliens and alien abductions, I went hardcore the other day about alien abductions. Okay, if you missed it, please go check it out on my other episodes. If you can't find it on the other social media platforms, you can actually go to my YouTube channel, Coolly Cool Show, and just like and subscribe, and you can listen to my podcast there because they're automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel. So, but I went in depth in talking about alien abductions and things of that nature. But one of the main facets that I talked about in reference to a lot of this stuff, when I talk about aliens, is, I laughed to myself, which I think that's in a detailed point of insanity. I think if you're laughing at each other, I don't. But I talked in depth about, well, advanced civilizations or advanced alien species, they come here from the mothership and they fly down here and they like want to be seen. It's like they have no disregard for, concealment or staying out of sight or whatever. They want to be seen, and they're obviously with the fucking spotlights looking down on Earth, the terrain, the land, the neighborhoods, which houses to go to. But obviously, it's always in the prominent, educated, wealthy class. They don't choose to go to the hood areas, the poor communities, to be spotted and seen by the people. Or to go do their abduction on people. They don't want to pick the lower class people or in the poor areas. No, they want the top echelon. They want highly educated, prominent figures, scholars, with credibility to say, yeah, aliens do exist. Right? They want that. Being real with you, right? Absolutely real. Absolutely authentic realism. You know, I'm bringing stuff like that, common sense perspective to the door. As I said when I was talking the other day about how this woman, had, she, they say that it's one of the most accurate events and captured detail of alien abduction happening. She was lying asleep in bed next to her husband, who was in a deep, deep sleep. She woke, couldn't move, but at the foot of her bed, she saw a short, bald headed, big eyed figure, and it looked at her. And before she could say anything, the alien said, "Shut up." So not only those small aliens, they can communicate us through telepathic ways and tell us to shut up. So they know the English language, know the meaning behind it. So they're on point, as far as their ability to communicate and know the terminology behind it to ensure that, hey, the message gets passed. Bitch, shut up. That's pretty much what the alien was saying. And then on top of that, what aliens doing, taking them to the mothership, doing experimentation because they have a PhD degree in medicine and doctoring, and things of that nature. They have a medical degree. They probably got it from, certain medical facilities or universities. But no one paid any attention while they were here, getting their degrees. No one paid any attention. They just figured, hey, we're just going to dismiss that and we're carrying on and minding our own business. It's pretty much how I guess it's sounding like. But it's always doing these experimentations. It's always some type of sexualness that, would presume that maybe these aliens are some freaks. I don't know. Just saying, But then we have people say, oh, it's true. Then we have people that work in the government says, hey, it's true. These things are true. They're true. But then they've admitted that they have staged these certain types of abductions um, to magnify or to kind of, hey, since they're saying this is and we don't think it is, why don't we go ahead and stage it where we have like a real abduction happen, but we're staging it to keep the theory, the lie going, so people can believe in what, outer space, I guess. I don't know whatever the motives behind it. But I've always talked to, and all my listeners, all great listeners, my two, appreciate you. What have I always said? I said one of the main big thing is a money issue. It's a money thing. It always is. I said, if you heard my podcast earlier, I said I talked about instinctively about we place value in a lot of things. We do. As humans, we place value. Like if someone were to give you a gold brick, gold, like the ones from Fort Knox or something like that. And people would be like, "Oh, I'm rich. I'm rich." You're placing value on something. And then if you go to somebody else, then they're like, "Oh, I'm rich too." And then they're placing value on it because it's a shiny fucking brick. It's a shiny fucking rock. Placing value to it. When in reality, it's just what it is. It's a shiny fucking rock. That's about it. Doesn't do anything much unless it's fucking superpowers from it. But it's just a shiny rock. But we place value to it. Because man and people are corrupt. We're corrupt in nature. We don't try to be corrupt. But fuck, motherfuckers is. I don't know what the hell it is. People then, because the reason why, because somebody says, well, you know what? He got that, so I want that. I got to get what that. I got to get that. Think about it. Back in the old days, it was all about trade. Everybody's got to trade for something. I got something that you might want. That's exactly how it is. And the thing is, nothing wrong with that. But then when the point in time you start it start to get absurd and crazy. It literally does. And that's what I talk about sometimes with these alien abductions. And I talked a little bit about it. Sometimes these people come up with these fascinating stories that they've been abducted or whatever. And there's always might be an underlying story that they might need to do something like this in order because they want to get publicity. They want to get in the limelight. They want to be known. They want people to hear their fictitious fake story for some odd reason, and they will go down with it because they feels that the income money is going to come with it by doing it, and it's kind of fucking crazy. I mean, oh, trust me, people are will do this. I mean, there was a video I was watching not too long ago. I forgot what his name was. But I was watching a video. He was actually interviewed, and he was talking crazy. And when I mean talking crazy, he literally said, like, I'm just taking a sigh, I'm breathing, because I'm just ready to tell all of you this complete, utter nonsense. So he was saying that, you know, he um, lived on Mars and took a wormhole up to Mars and lived there for like 20 plus years or whatever. This, yeah, X, Y, and Z. And he was engineered to be a Marine, and he was the most fitting one to be a Marine, and all this other shit. I'm like, I was looking at that and listening, and I was like, okay. And this guy, he was saying all types of things, reticular and galaxy or something. I forgot what his name was, man. Damn it. But I literally was like laughing because I was like, this guy has to be, joking about this. But he was absolutely serious. I mean, trying to convince people that his story was credible, but in reality, his shit wouldn't even fly past a goddamn elementary schooler. Elementary schooler would have been like, what is he talking about? This dude is obviously lying. You know, that's how bad this dude's story was, that he was trying to convince that what he was saying was true. And he kept saying he was like to tell the truth, like to tell the truth, and ensure that the truth was getting out there. And and then he was saying that something his sergeant major or something, or his commander or whoever he was under was telling him, he was like, yeah, you just got to tell the people whatever. Yeah, it sounds insane, right? Not like sounds insane because half the shit I talk about on this damn show, the coolest of the cool, is insane. Not from me, but from what I tell and find out and hear and see. Not so much seeing, because I really haven't seen an alien. I, I mean, I did see some flashing light off in the distance when I was driving today, and it was a little bit dark out. Well, it was dark out. I did see something in the distance, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it might have been another balloon, but this time it had some lights on it. I don't know. Couldn't tell. It wasn't close enough. I certainly wasn't going to be like, hey, let's go follow it, track it. I got other shit to do, to be honest, and go see something in the sky and be like, let me go, track it down. It's up there. It is up there. Whatever. It's a helicopter, plane, whatever. I don't know. But I would always put it this way. Um, it's not doing anything for me. What I got to worry about it. But you'd be surprised the amount of stuff that happens that people, will, you know, venture on to trying to convince people to believe in bullshittery. I've said this plenty of times. You listen to my show, I'm telling you, get more people to in tune to the realism talk that I talk about on my show, because I'm not lying. And the number one thing that I talk a lot. It's realism, especially when it comes to alien stories and alien abductions, alien sightings, alien scenes. And one big thing, and I say it all the time because it's a key factor, it's a key point, is the fact that all these alien sightings, all these alien abductions, it happens to where? To prominent, the scholars, the elites of the elites, people of credibility that you would take upon and say, yes, we believe them because of their place in society, their social status. I will say this because that's a key point. Because guess what? It does not happen to the lower class people that said, do you hear anything from the low class or the poor areas, people saying, hey, I saw this and they took me up to the mothership and did all this experimentation? No, because people think, I'll say whatever, he's lying, he's high, drunk, whatever. There's no credibility. You're like, whatever, take that person, get the guys with the white suits, bring the jacket, straps included, they need to go. By the way, do not collect $200 in the store. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you gotta learn that bullshittery, I don't even know if that's a word, but guess what? We gonna make this a word, bullshittery, runs fucking rampant when we start talking about shit that is out of this fucking world and shit that just don't make sense half the damn time. When then you try to make sense of it, you find out that it's some fucked up shit behind the whole ordeal. Like, I read an article a week ago, and they said glacier the size of London had broke off in the Arctic Circle. I haven't heard anything since about it. I think that'd probably be pretty fucking important to know about, as far as if the size of a glacier, size of the whole fucking city or whole area of London broke off in the Arctic Circle. I think that would probably be precedent or primary news in the science realm, in the science community, because that might pose a little bit of a fucking problem. Do you not kind of understand? Because I think that probably would, considering the fact that if something that magnitude, that size, might cause a fucking ripple effect to the rest of the goddamn world below. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. But as I said, they wrote it there, wrote it off like a bad check, like, shit happens. It just broke the fuck off. What are we gonna do about it? It is what it is. I mean, shit happens, and you just write a blank check and say, fuck it, move on, next. I mean, that's how they say for me, you, and everybody else. We're thinking like, holy shit, hold up, whoa, what happened? But apparently in government talk and shit that they're trying to cover up, they're just like, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Diamond doesn't, fuck it. Let's keep moving. You're like, what the fuck? It just, I'm telling you, and this plays the thought process on a lot of shit that's forthcoming as far as things that are to come. I mean, if they're talking about, let's see, the beginning of last summer, they were talking hot and heavy about the UFOs and the government, the Pentagon, disclosing information about them. You follow my podcast, which I want you to follow, like, subscribe. If you know, I had talked about this and I said, wow, the Pentagon's really going to release this. People were like getting excited. All the nerds were like, oh my God, we're going to find out whether aliens exist and they're going to tell us. And I was telling, I said, they're not going to say anything. They're going to give you the generic, general answer, which is going to be what they gave. We cannot confirm or deny, but it's something. We don't know what the fuck it is. And then they're going to keep it moving and go somewhere else. When obviously, in reality, they probably already fucking know exactly what it is. But they're just not going to tell you. Because that key phrase, spot the key phrase in it. We cannot confirm or deny. Key phrase right there. That means we're not telling you because we don't have an obligation to tell you. Because if we were to tell you, there could be something detrimental to national security. That's what it fucking means. I thought it was pretty funny how I knew exactly what they were upset, but you had all these nerds and people that were like, oh my God, they're going to tell us. I'm like, they're not going to tell you the fucking aliens exist. They're not going to happen. I mean, even if that were to be true, they just wouldn't tell you anyway, because people don't know how to cope with shit. Individual person does. on certain things on certain levels, but people in a general, when one person will just fuck it up for everybody, then everybody will follow that person, then the next person will follow. Then it'd be like a fucking dominoes effect because they'll just fucking just, oh my god, aliens eat cheese. They came here to eat all the fucking Swiss cheese and shit. You'd be like, the fuck is this? Where did this come from? And they're like, it came from the aliens wanting to eat Swiss cheese. I'm like, is that true? And then next though, if there was really an alien, I'm like, no, we don't know what Swiss cheese is. Then what the fuck was people talking about Swiss cheese? They're like, I don't fucking know. That's y'all people. So, I mean, you have to look at things very with some common sense, okay? Look at it with some common sense. Don't put blinders on because if you put blinders on, you might get fooled with everything else around. So, I don't know. Just giving you perspective on a lot of stuff that's out there. And that one thing that I touched on beforehand. Not saying space is fake. I didn't say that. Um, Many people try to say that, oh, you're a flat earther. I'm not a flat earther. I am open minded to what flat earthers talk about. And that's a difference. Now, when flat earthers talk about certain things, I'm very open minded to that. I am open to kind of the, maybe it could be. Because we're generally lied to as people. From the elites to the elites who are secretly running this world, we're generally lied to on a daily basis about stuff. We get people influencing us on what to buy, what to drink, what to eat, what to wear. And don't think that it's not true because watch when the Super Bowl comes. Watch the commercials in the Super Bowl. There will be things for you to look at, to buy, to wear, to see what to do, to go somewhere, to visit, to, get a new car. All this, I'm telling you, it's all the way for what? To get your money. It's to make certain people rich. It's all that. I'm telling you. And as far as what I had said about space being fake, which I'm not saying space is fake. I don't know. I haven't been in space, but what I can tell you is that I remember I was watching the one popular YouTube people, the Dude Perfect, and the guy went to space, so-called space. He did not go to space. They didn't have spacesuits on like they went into the Apollo missions that was wearing, real spacesuits. These people in this video didn't have any of that shit. They were like, oh, we're floating. They were just in a zero-G environment craft that got them to a certain point at probably almost the last layer of the atmosphere. But even at that point, I don't even think they were even that close. I think they were at a point where they could get zero-G gravity. And then they came back down like nothing happened. I would say, like I said, great editing, great presentation of the video, great selling of the whole ordeal. Awesome, because they got millions upon millions of viewers to watch their video, and thus, guess what? Here's the catcher. Like I always told you, guess what? People watch the video, people invested it. Guess what? They make money, and guess what? Their sponsor, who sponsored the whole thing for them to go up there with 4 other people, guess what? Made money off of them because of how many people subscribe and watch and follow them. So guess what? Money, money, money. Those people and them made tons and millions of dollars. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happens. That is exactly how it always happens. Money, money, money. Trust me, it's always a backlot story to it. Because guess what? That amount of people can be influenced and swayed on by everything else. Because somebody will watch. Because guess what? They saw from here. So guess what? The spectrum of the broadcast part reaches out to upon millions of people. It does. Just like what was that thing? I talked also about Richard Branson, Virgin CEO of Virgin Mobile. He went up into space with some chicks, and he was like floating around. I think that was like last year. When he went up to space with some chicks, and he was saying, "Oh, you can do it too." Once again, now his pilots who were flying the space, the plane up there flying, they had helmet, a mask on, and O2 canister or whatever. And, them in the back of the plane, they didn't have no space. They had a jumpsuit on. No space suits. But they were saying, oh, we've been to space and this and that. Really? I guess space is just taking a back seat now these days and just saying the hell with it, I guess. Dime a dozen. Space my ass. But I'm just saying, a billionaire really risking that much to put themselves in a situation like that. I think that let's be real. Realism. Realism. Okay? True. Feel for thought. Think about this. Common sense. Think about this. Think about this situation. Think about how everything is. Okay? Don't try to put blinders on it. Just be able to be aware of your surroundings. Be able to look around. Um, like we touched on a couple while ago about chickens and the eggs. Eggs is damn near maybe at this point $1 billion. Just a dozen of carton of eggs, a dozen eggs is probably $1 billion. I'm pretty sure when I went to the grocery store, I saw people fighting over eggs. Okay. And I think it was because one lady person found a cracked egg and they were like, I ain't paying for this shit. You gonna give me another whole bunch? It's just saying, okay. I mean, you have to be able to critically think. And I think that's what's being downplayed in our society today with all the pharmaceuticals, and they want everybody to be on some type of medication or taking something, whatever. They're trying to suppress us from being able to critically think. And that has a lot to do with it. Because if you cannot critically think, then understand you cannot understand what is going on around you. So being able to critically think is vital for us as a human being. And guess what? We do critical thinking every day, but when it comes to other certain facets of our lives, we might not be able to critically think because we are being sold onto something. We're being convinced by others that this is a certain way, or this is what's going to happen, or this is how something may be presumed to look like. It's the truth and nothing but the truth. So that is how it has always been, and that's how it's going to be until we start understanding how certain things and how the world really works. I mean, we've all said it. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, like, I try to give good examples because I love giving examples. I think examples is a good way for people to understand. Um, okay, put it this way. I actually tried to apply to become an astronaut. Um, because I want to see what the astronauts see and be able to be involved with scientific study. But everything that, you know, I say, you know, I'm college educated, a college graduate, and I want to be able to utilize certain creative fields into, you know, participating, advancing our mankind. But because maybe I don't have a bachelor's degree in, you know, aeronautics engineering or some shit, that disqualifies me from becoming an astronaut. Or I don't have a bajillion, flight times in a Pacific plane or whatever, that disqualifies me too. So it's different, and it's really weird. But that's kind of one primitive kind of example. Now, what I've always had, and I said touched on this a little bit before. I touched on about flat earthers and globers. I'm not a flat earther. I believe the Earth is a ball, but I don't believe it's the shape and form is what they tend to say. And what I've said before, and I touched on it a couple episodes of my podcast shows before, is that every time flat earthers try to debunk the size and shape of Earth, they always kind of fail at their experimentation. And I put no fault on them because they're actually trying to do experiment to debunk something instead of just going along with, oh, it's debunked. It's this. Be like, how do you do it? Well, I'm just saying it because it doesn't seem right. They're trying to do the experiments to try to find out for themselves that, hey, something's not right, something's wrong. But what I've said in my previous podcast, and it's a very important matter, which is very important, is take a look at this. If they are saying this and they're doing their experimentation, doing equations, they're doing things of that nature, you have to look at it this way. Their equations, their formats, their research are all based on the Glober's theories, the Glober's equations, the Glober's mathematics, the Glober's whole way of thinking. So basically, you're not going to get the right answer because they've already been mapped out. So you can't change something that's already been kind of set in stone to what is right and what is wrong. And people love to go and says, well, it's about physics. Yeah, it deals with physics too. But physics is derived with a lot of maybe some math, maybe some scientific stuff. So if they incorporate their experimentations with utilizing certain physics, laws, and principles, it's never going to work out. Their equations, their experiments are always going to be wrong and will be wrong because they're using their concepts and theories and principles and laws from the Glober's way of thinking. So obviously, it's not going to work out. All I'm saying is I listen to them because I think they have a very, very open-minded way of thinking to say, hey, I think something's not right here. And they're willing to speak out about it. And like I said, I take the good from the bad. I take what is good, what is not good. I mean, I've heard some flatterers say some outlandish things, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I've heard some flatterers say some things that makes you really think, considering the fact that in the course of history, throughout our time, we've been lied about a lot of stuff. And as we've been lied about a lot of stuff, it's only when you start to open your mind with the open thought process, you get to find out that, wait, a lot of shit's been covered up, or people have different agendas to whatever it is that they want to be passed, whatever is what they want done, or be put in place, or X, Y, and Z. It is like that all the time. And it's one that makes you really, really think. Because, trust me, if the elites of the elites want something to go a certain way, they're going to do it in all their power in order to make it happen. Trust and believe that. That's a fact. It's not a myth. It's not a thought process. It's a fact. Because that's how things typically get done. Okay? So, it's just a certain way of thinking and a certain way of what's going on. Oh, well, that song means we've come to an end of another wonderful show here on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Sunday night vibes. Like I said, we touched on a lot of things. We did a little recap on a lot of things. So, I mean, we'll have another show. We'll talk a little bit more about other new exciting things that are going on in the news today around the world. So, just everyone having, just have common sense, god damn it. Alright? Have some goddamn common sense, god damn it. Alright? Watch out for the bullshittery. Alright? New word made up by the coolest of the cool. The Coolly Cool Show. Bullshittery. Alright? So, if you haven't done this already, be sure to like and follow us on our social media platform. Follow me on my TikTok channel, my YouTube channel, both labeled The Coolly Cool Show. You can follow me on Twitter at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me at my Instagram page at Brent_DJ. So, like I said, right coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. So, you already hear live with the Coolly Cool Show. So, take care. Bye.